Why does this girl hate to be a pastor's wife so much? This girl is imagining that being a pastor's wife means preaching in market and being poor. That kind of small scale ministry where you struggle and it's like you are struggling. She wants to live that lifestyle of high class engineer's wife. I'll support you, but probably not as a wife. This guy doesn't need your support. When you separate from him, he doesn't need your support. His only support is from the God that has called him. If you want to stay away from his life, then leave for good. Why I'm strict in this situation is that many men, young Christian men, rush so quickly into relationships when they set off in life, and with these relationships make them compromise their calling.
Hello sir, we have another anonymous question, and it goes: my boyfriend says God has called him to his ministry. He has seen God in his dream, and the direction from God says he should be in full-time ministry. We have been dating for 3 years and have started talking about marriage. Both of us are staunch Christians, so we do things in a way that follows the principles of the God we worship. He's a trained engineer waiting for doors to open for him to practice his chosen profession. We're praying about it until he came up with the story of God wanting him in full-time ministry. I love God, but I can't be a pastor's wife. He thinks it should come easy for me, but I told him it's something I can never get used to. He asked me, so you mean you walk away because I chose to listen to God's voice? I responded, I am happy for you, but I can't be happy as a pastor's wife. I will support you, but probably not as a wife. He's waiting for me to change my mind. He said we should pray about it until I hear God's voice. I haven't bothered to do that because I simply can't and don't think God will push me to do what I don't want to. Different pastors have intervened. My parents have spoken about it. His parents don't support his idea of full-time ministry, so they support me. They are banking their hope on me to change his mind for them. I can't change his mind, just as I can't change my mind to become a pastor's wife. It is not an easy choice to make, but I'd rather mourn today than carry one regret for the rest of my life. We haven't moved on yet. It's like a tug of war. He believes he will end up pulling the larger part of the thread. I am not pulling. I am standing aside, watching him be at war with himself. If he changes his mind, I'll be here for him. If he doesn't, I'll be here waving him goodbye, but rooting for him all the same. Thank you.
This situation of God calling people out of their plan of life, we've seen it a lot. You've heard of it a lot. It is a common thing. Now, let's talk about some examples of this situation even in the Bible. When Jesus Christ met Peter, Andrew, John, and James, what were they doing? They were fishing. And they were what? Practicing their family business. It was their family business, right? They were family members and family friends, and they were in that profession. But when Jesus Christ called them, then Jesus Christ said, come, follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men. Jesus Christ said it, and he left. And what did they do? The Bible said, right there, immediately, they dropped their fishing net and followed. Now, Matthew, what do you know about Matthew? Matthew was a tax collector, right? And he was actually working, sitting at a tax collection bench when Jesus Christ met him there. And Jesus Christ said, follow me. For him, he didn't even say fishers of men or something. He said, follow me. And he just dropped everything. Now, tax collectors, don't you think that in that time, tax collection was a highly lucrative job? He was rich. Zacchaeus, wasn't he rich? Yeah. Because tax collectors, what they were doing is that when they see that you owe tax, when they are presenting the tax to you, they are going to add some figures to it, and that figure is their own profit on your tax. They are going to benefit. So imagine 1, 2, 3 people, 100 people, 500 people, and they are collecting tax, and he's getting all these investments from people. He's going to be rich. So he was benefiting from his job. So how can somebody drop his profession that he's doing just because somebody said, follow me, and he was obedient? Now, imagine they hadn't heeded the call of Jesus Christ and they just lived their lives as fishermen and as tax collectors and whatever. Where would their name been written in history? would we still remember who these people were in history? No, because there were hundreds of fishermen, there were thousands of tax collectors and all that in those times, but still we still mention the names of these people. Matthew wrote a book and we are all reading their writings. Now, she said he had seen a dream where he saw God and God was directing him that he should come into full-time ministry. I won't doubt this guy. I can't say that this guy is probably lying. He hasn't heard anything from God. He hasn't seen anything from God. Because look at it. He said he's a trained engineer, right? So do you think that somebody who has been trained in engineering and is on the path of being an engineer, do you think that person can trade or can ditch that path of engineer? And engineers are highly respected in the society, and financially they get lucrative income, right? So can you say that something that this guy has studied all throughout the university is going to ditch it for a lie? No, because secondly, nobody can lie to drive people away from their lives when they first of all want the people to stay in their lives. You lie only to motivate people to keep them in your life so that you keep on benefiting from them. So you won't lie to drive people away from your life, and that is what this guy is doing. So it's just like when the apostles said they had seen Jesus Christ rise from the dead, and therefore they are going to even risk their life to defend their faith. Do you think if they connived to come out and said that let's tell them that Jesus Christ had risen, but meanwhile we know that it's a lie, do you think that they would have been able to stand firm in the face of death to defend a lie? No, it means they saw Jesus Christ for real, and therefore they have the conviction that yes, they are believing in the truth. So this guy can't lie to drive people away from his life or lie to lose good things from his life. No. So we can say that he's actually telling the truth, right? Yes, that is what we can conclude for now. Now, he said she loves God, but she can't be a pastor's wife. Of course, she won't be a pastor's wife because she can't. This is a situation that happens a lot to young Christian guys when they set off in life, enter into so many relationships. Some of these relationships are not meant to be in the first place. Why? Because these women that they have relationship with are not supposed to be their wives. And you and I, we know that if you get a wife, she's supposed to be your helpmate, right? Helpmate means she's supposed to be the help in what you are called for. And if this woman is not willing to be your helper in ministry, it means, yeah, she's not meant to be your wife. Now, I advise young guys always, especially Christian guys and people in general, that whatever purpose you have, whatever vision you have, begin it, start it. And after that, you are going to call and draw people of like-mindedness into your fold. And these are the people that are going to come along with probably your wife. So when God calls you, God is not calling you for something bad. God is calling you for something that in his own plan connects. Now, this is what I can say in this regard. Listen to this. Don't you know that when God puts his investment in you, a time will come for him to also cash out? This reminds me of this movie, Ghost Rider. So in Ghost Rider, Satan came in the form of Mephistopheles. That is another term for Satan. And Satan caused the father of a guy called Johnny Blaze. He was a character of Nicolas Cage. So Johnny Blaze was a motor rider, and his father was at the point of death. He was almost dying. And Satan healed his father. And it was almost like Satan used the opportunity to exchange his soul to save his father. Now his father got healed, but later on his father died. It's a separate issue. Now, Satan was protecting Johnny Blaze and maintaining his life and keeping him from dying, and giving him fame and all sorts of money and all that. Now Satan came to him at a point in time and said that, I'm so happy that I'm finally meeting you. And I remember this quote. He said, it's like watching your investment grow, and now it is time to cash in. That is what Satan said. So right there, he gave him a task that go and hunt down one of his sons, his sons who have escaped from hell. You should go and hunt him down and bring him back to hell. That is movie, right? Now we can apply that. The writer of that script knew how divinity works. Don't you think that this person in this question, this guy, don't you think that God probably assisted him in his exams? God probably helped him. Even the money that he used in paying the school fees and all that, God helped his dad and all that to get to a point where now he is ripe enough to work for God. Probably throughout all his education and all his university stay, the only thing that God wanted him to take was how to read and write and speak good English, or probably get a certain level of discipline in sitting down to learn and read. And now he has graduated and is about to apply that same skill in the work of God. So it doesn't mean that you have graduated to come and perform your own career. God has helped you, assisted you, and guided you all throughout your education and all throughout your life. Now it's time to cash out and do the work and apply that same characters and that same ability that you gathered into the field of God. Dr. Ward Mills, who was he? Dr. Ward Mills was a pathologist. He studied pathology. He was a doctor in the 1989 or something like that. He graduated from Legon. Now, according to a book that he wrote, and I read that book, he said one day they were operating on a dead body, and as they were operating on a dead body, he was imagining that this guy lying on this stretcher was once a person who had his own life, had his own visions. He was once depended on by multiple people. He has lived a life before. So one day, to me too, I'm going to be lying on the table like this. He said at that moment, he was thinking that no, it means life is worth a higher purpose that I have to be committed to. So from there, I don't know whether he began to hear the voice of God but from his own story, that was when from there he started picking up the ministry work. So he sacrificed his doctor profession and his life as a pathologist, and he picked the work of God. Now Dr. Ward Mills, who is he now? He's a mighty man who is making so much impact in the life of people. Now, when this guy comes out and says that he wants to enter into a life of ministry and work for God, what we know is that God doesn't call to shame. God doesn't call. But unfortunately, this is the mindset that this lady has had. From her own writings, she said, I love God, but I can't be a pastor's wife. It's something I can never get used to. Why does this girl hate to be a pastor's wife so much? This girl is imagining that being a pastor's wife means preaching in market and being poor. That kind of small scale ministry where you struggle and it's like you are struggling. She wants to live that lifestyle of high class engineer's wife. So she thinks that it's going to be a struggle, a life of pain and difficulty. And two, she probably thinks that being the wife of a pastor means you have to be also committed to the work of God and be in PVC or of Mame. So she's not willing to live that lifestyle of righteousness and holiness. But why? If you are practicing Christianity already and you are obeying God's word and all that, why should you now find it difficult when you are transitioning it to be a pastor's wife? It means this girl is now thinking that being a pastor's wife is going to be a problem to her classiness and a problem to the kind of money that she's supposed to enjoy in the society as an engineer's wife. Let's go on. He asked me, so you mean you walk away because I chose to listen to God's voice? I responded, I'm happy for you, but I can't be happy as a pastor's wife. If he changes his mind, I'll be there for him. If he doesn't, I'll be here waving goodbye, but rooting for him. So this girl is willing to say goodbye to the relationship for one reason. And it means she'll be willing to say goodbye to the relationship for another reason in the future when you marry her. This is a clue that the relationship that these two people were having in the first place wasn't based on real, genuine love and commitment, at least from the side of the woman. If the woman is able to choose herself and her interests above your calling, will you be surprised that in the future they are discussing that, let's move to this place, let's move to this town because of this and that reason? If the man brings this idea, this girl will probably say no. If you are going to do this, then fine. She has a character of choosing herself. It's similar to what happened in the Garden of Eden when Adam chose to listen to the woman. When God came, what did God say? God said, because you have listened to your wife and I have not listened to my voice. So if you listen to your wife, you are going to be accountable to God. He said, I'm happy for you, but I can't be happy as a pastor's wife. I'll support you, but probably not as a wife. This guy doesn't need your support. When you separate from him, he doesn't need your support. His only support is from the God that has called him. So if you want to stay away from his life, then leave for good. Why I'm strict in this situation is that many men, young Christian men, rush so quickly into relationships when they set off in life, and these relationships make them compromise their calling. He said, we should pray about it until I hear God's voice. I haven't bothered to do that because I simply can't and don't think God will push me to do what I don't want to. First of all, there's a wrong misconception. Sometimes God can call you and push you to do something against your will. And sometimes God can force you in this situation. But when we talk about the situation where God forces somebody to do his will, you have to know that when you are the elect of God, in Christianity, there's a concept called the elect. If you are the elect of God, you don't have your free will in terms of what God expects you to do. Because as an elect, your purpose of creation, the purpose for which God created you, is to work for him. And therefore, no matter what. Now, the family is also against this guy. Different pastors have intervened. His parents don't support his idea in full-time ministry, so they support me. They are banking their hope on me to change his mind for them. You can listen to your family and go into one direction of life. But I tell you, when God has called you for one path, it means your greatness lies in that path. If God has put a calling on you, your greatness and your success lies in that calling. Whatever path that you take in life, you are on your own. And I tell you, you are going to fail because you don't have the backing of God. You may have the backing of your wife, the backing of your family. But for God's backing, you don't have it. Therefore, you are going and you fail. Even if you succeed, I tell you, there's always going to be a part of you that will regret and a part of you that will feel unfulfilled in whatever direction that you take. And I tell you, when you are unfulfilled and you don't succeed as an engineer, these same family members, this same wife will come back and tell you that you are a failure in life. Look at all other engineers. Look at what they are doing. But only you. We don't see you making any progress. Yes. And they are going to leave you. So it's better they leave you now. Your family rejects you. Now, what did Jesus Christ do? Wasn't Mary against Jesus Christ calling? Well, not typically against. But when Jesus was around 12 years old and he was spotted in the church and was reasoning with the elders and the high priests and the Sadducees and Pharisees in the church, when Mary came, what did Mary say? Mary said that, we've been looking for you. Why are you so stubborn? We've been looking for you all throughout the city. And now you are here. What are you doing? Leave. Let's go. What did Jesus Christ say? Jesus Christ said, Madam, are you trying to stop me from doing the work of my Father? You can't. So leave me alone. He left with them, but he kept on doing that. And later on, when Jesus Christ was told that, Jesus, your mom and family are looking for you outside there, so come, stop what you're doing and come and see them. He said, listen, call them and come and see something. Who is my mom? Who is my brothers? Who are my sisters? No. These people sitting here, they are my mom, they are my fathers, they are my sisters, they are my brethren, they are my family. And he said, my family, my mom, my dad are those who listen to the word of my Father. Meaning, when it comes to ministry, family is down. When it comes to ministry, wife is down. Yeah, you have to heed the call of God above every other thing. And if you heed the word of your family, the word of your wife, this is where it will come to a point where when the failure comes, you would have to be accountable to God for the calling. But I tell you, all those people who heeded the call of God on their life, they all became great. They all became great. And it will come to a time where all those people who are against his ministry, when he becomes obedient to God and the success, ministerial success comes, all these people are going to look at him. They are going to be like, yeah, this guy chose the right path, and we wished we had supported him. Now, this girl is not the problem. You know the problem? The problem is that she is not supposed to be the wife of this guy. That is why. She's going to be perfectly fitting for another man, an engineer or whoever. But I can assure you that apart from this woman, there are hundreds and thousands of women who want to be pastor's wife. They are willing to be that. I know some women, I've known them in the past, that were so strict and said that apart from a pastor, they won't marry anyone else. It means God has placed that desire in them. It means they are called for that, right? I'm advising this guy, you should pray. Pray. Note that when God calls you into a certain path of life, it comes along with some things And one of the things that come along with it is a wife. If he has indeed heard the call of God on his life, no matter what happens, you stay firm and stand in that calling. You should persevere, and the success lies in that. And the woman too, it's fine. If you want to choose yourself, if you want to choose your own interest in this situation, regardless of the voice of God, then it's fine. The kind of man that you want is going to come in the picture, and you can be with him. But this is something that I can advise women on. Women have a certain mindset. When they want this, that is what they want, regardless of anything. And when a woman says that this is the guy that I want, even if the guy says that, okay, so let's pray to God for confirmation. If God confirms our relationship, you continue. But if God doesn't confirm, we'll just go our separate ways. A woman will not pray. Oftentimes will not pray. She will say that no, this is the guy that I want. So she won't even pray to hear the negative confirmation. She would rather stay. Women, I know this as an example. I know this for myself. Women do that a lot. So that too, I'm advising women to work on that. That it's not everything that you want in life that you get. And it's not everything that you feel is not good for you in life. That is actually not good. Sometimes it may not seem to be good in the beginning, but along the line, it can turn to be good. That is something that I can tell these two people. But for the guy, you should keep on praying. We are gonna support him in our prayers. We wish him well wherever he is.